Hello guys, welcome to this video. We're going to learn about arrays, and in this case we're going to learn about some 5 array methods in JavaScript. So the first method is the push method. So what is the push method doing? This method is used to add an element at the end of the array. So it's used to add element at the end of an array. Okay, now suppose we had an array known as const numbers. Say we have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we want to add number 6 to this array using the push method. This is how we do it. So we have numbers dot push, and then some parentheses there. Then we add the number that we want to add, which is 6. So if I console log this array again, numbers, I will see my new array which has 6 numbers. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So by using the push method, I have added an element at the end of the array. The second method is the unshift method. So this method does the opposite of what the push method does. While the push method adds an element to the end of the array, the unshift method adds an element at the beginning of the array. So we want to add number 0 to this array so that the array is now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me first write a comment here, say add an element at the beginning of an array. Okay, so let's put this into practice. So we'll have our array name dot, then the method number, or the method name, sorry. So and then we're going to add number 0 and shift 0. This means we want to add 0 at the beginning of the array numbers. So let's log it out. Just type log and then use that shortcut. So we have numbers. Let's check our numbers now again. I'll comment out the first one. So we only have one answer in the output. So if I run this, I will have now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You notice now I have inserted 0 at the beginning of the array using unshift. And in the first example, I did use push to add 6 to the array. Now let's go to the third method. That's the push method. Sorry, that's the pop method. So let's go to the third one. That's the pop method. Now the pop method is used to remove an element at the end of the array. So removes element at the end of an array. How do we do that? We write the array name numbers dot pop, then put our parentheses there. So if I want to see what is my array looking like right now. Now our current array has 0 up to 6. So if I want to remove the last element, the element will be 6. So now we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now let's go to the next method. We've covered the pop method. Now we want to go to the shift method. So the shift method does the opposite of what the pop method does. While the pop method was removing the last element in an array, the shift method removes the first element in an array. Removes the first element in an array. So let's put that into practice. Shift. Okay. So let's check out how our new array looks like. Commenting out the first one, and then run it. Now you notice that we had 0 in the previous array, and now we don't have it. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now let's go to the last method in this case, which is the splice method. So the splice method does 2 works. So the first case, we're going to use the splice method to add an element to an array at a certain index or at a certain position. Okay, so let me create a new array. Okay, so there's a reason why I want to create a new array. So let me create array that is known as new number, new numbers. Now in this new array, I want to skip one number intentionally so that I can use my splice method to show you how to insert a number somewhere inside an array. Now, not necessarily at the beginning or at the end. So we'll write 1, 3, 4, 5. So which number is missing in this array? Number 2 is missing. Now I want to see how to use the splice method to add number 2 at its right position. So splice method is a unique one in a way that it uses 3 arguments to add an element to a certain position. The first argument is the index where you want to insert that array or that element. For example, now here 2 is at index number 1 because 1 is at index 0, and then now number 2 will be at index 1. Then the second argument is the number of elements you want to remove from the array. So if there is any element you want to remove, we say how many elements, the number of the elements you want to remove. So say elements to remove. That's the second argument. Then the third one will be the elements themselves. Okay, so you can say element 1. We have element 1 we want to remove. Okay, we have element 2 we want to not remove but add. Element 1 that we want to add, element 2 all the way to element X. Okay, whatever number of elements you want to add, you can add them at any position, given that your first argument is the index, the way we want to start adding those elements, and then the second argument is, do you want to remove any element from the existing array? Then the last argument is the elements themselves that we want to add. So now let's put that into practice. So let's have our array name. Now notice we created a new array, so it's a new numbers dot splice. Okay, then let's now start putting our 3 arguments here. So the first argument is the index or the position now where we want to insert number 2. So in which index is number 2 supposed to be? It's in index 1 because now 1 belongs in between 1 and 3. So we write index 1 there, comma. Then do we have any number that we want to remove? We don't have any number we want to remove yet. So we write 0 numbers that we want to remove. Then now the number itself that we want to insert, we have number 2 here that we want to insert. Okay, so this splice method tells us we want to insert a number at index number 2, then we want to remove no number yet, and then we want to insert number 2 at that position, index 1. So let's log it out and see whether have we inserted number 2 to this array of 1, 3, 4, 5. So let's log out new numbers. Okay. Yes. Now you notice we had 1, 3, 4, 5. Now we have inserted number 2 here in between 1 and 3 by using the splice method. Okay. Now we can use the same splice method to remove a number from an array at any position. So let me create another array. Let me call it latest numbers. And then I want to add repeated numbers so that I can remove one of them. So let me say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's say I made a mistake and wrote 4 twice, and I want to use splice method to remove one of the number 4s. So we will not use pop or shift to remove these numbers because pop removes number 5 and shift removes number 5. While in my case, I want to remove number 4. So this is where now splice comes in. We'll use it now in a different way, not so different. Now in this time around, we want to use splice with 2 arguments. The first one is the index, where you want to remove a number. Then the second one is the how many numbers you want to remove. Okay, so elements to remove. Okay, or count to remove. Okay, now let's put that into practice. So we have our new array, that's latest numbers dot splice, and then we're going to have now the index where we want to remove a number. Now we have 2 4s here. We can choose to remove any. So let me choose to remove the first one. So the first 4 here is in index 0, 1, 2, 3. So the first 4 is in index 3. So I'll come and write index 3 here. That's the position where I want to remove an element. And how many elements do I remove from index 3? I want to remove only one element, that is at index 3. So by doing so, I will have done away with one of the 4s there. So let's log out this array, latest numbers. Okay, so I'll comment out this one and see whether have we removed the one of the repeating 4s. Okay. Yes, now we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, to prove that indeed we have removed one of the 4s, I can undo whatever that I've done here. Okay, or remove this. And then check whether is the original numbers having a repeated 4. As you see here, there's a repeated 4. So our splice method successfully removed number 4 from the array. Now, a recap, we've done 5 methods. The first one is the push method that is used to add an element at the end of the array. Second one is the unshift method that is used to add element at the beginning of the array. Then we came to the pop method, which removes the first element from an array. This should remove the last. Okay, pop removes the element at the end of the array or the last one. Shift removes the element at the first position. And then we have the splice method. It can be used to add an element at any position by using these 3 arguments. The first one being the index that we want to remove an element from. The second one being the number of elements that we want to remove. And then the third one being the element itself. And then lastly, you can use the same splice method to remove an element from any position of an array by first argument being the position that we want to remove, and then secondly, the number that we want to remove, how many numbers that we want to remove. So if you have liked what I've taught in this video, remember to like and share the video to the rest so that they can learn. So thank you and see you next time.